Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Big Show, hosted by myself. My name is Jimmy Smith. Hope you guys are doing great out there in Facebook and YouTube land. Alongside of me is my co-host and color commentator. Everybody knows him and everybody loves him, Dwayne.
What's up? What's going
on?
The
Big Show. The Big Show podcast, guys, is a podcast where we discuss all kinds of modern day issues like men's health, masculinity, the hard truth about dating, and what makes a man. So it's time to go ahead and get the big show started. Now, we want to welcome you to today's show in particular, because today is where we're going to dive into the intricate landscape of trust. Now, in a world filled with uncertainty, deciphering who you can trust may feel like navigating a labyrinth without a map. From personal relationships to professional endeavors, the ability to discern trustworthy is paramount, because today we're going to discuss the nuances of said trust, how to identify it, cultivate it, and perhaps most importantly, how do you recognize when it's misplaced altogether? Whether you're seeking guidance on deciphering subtle cues or navigating complex social dynamics, today, Dwayne and I are going to go over why we trust, who we trust, and who we should not be trusting at all. And for those of you who know my good friend Dwayne, you'll know that he doesn't trust very easy, and for good reason.
Yeah, I'm 51. I don't even trust a fart anymore.
It's just no trust with this guy anymore, because trust has always been something that, Dwayne in particular holds near and dear to him. And although I don't want to spread his dirty laundry, I will let you guys know that trust is still, unfortunately, an ongoing issue between him and his current wife, Brandy. Hold on, Dwayne. Hold on. See, Dwayne has asked Brandy on multiple occasions, Brandy, how am I supposed to trust you when you keep running away every time I untie you?
I know.
So, I get it, dude. I mean, what's a man to do when she's always running away once you try to untie her?
Yeah. She says I can trust her, and then she bolts. I just don't get it. It's like,
running down the street with a ball gag in her mouth. It's not a good look. I mean, just have a little trust, Brandy. Have a little trust.
Funny story. Speaking of the ball gag, we're able to go there.
Sure.
Well, we were having breakfast today at our favorite spot, Stevie's Diner. A little plug for them. We're not being paid for that, but it's a great little spot there, and I'm very friendly with the waitresses. We like to, and they know my personality. And at one point, and she knows I'm into Dungeons and Dragons and all that stuff, and she was making a comment about wanting to have me, come over with her, her boyfriend and friends, and we could all play D&D. And I said, made some comment that I don't know how it went there, but the next thing I know, she's pulling her phone up and showing me a Dungeons and Dragons dice ball gag. And of course, my response was, I'm getting the 3D printer out and I'm going to do a little, I'm going to roll a natural 20. But anyway.
Those ball gags, they come out plastic, right? If you do the 3D printer.
Is this a trick question or?
No, I've never printed anything else.
No, it's PLA.
Rubber, can you?
No, you cannot print out rubber. No,
right.
It's a solid material. It obviously would be for show, not for use. But I know stocking stuffers for you this winter. So, gotcha.
I see. So your waitress is not only a D&D nerd, but also a crazy freak.
The conversation did go into a uncharted territory, and it got a little awkward there for a moment, because I can guarantee you, with my wife and I there, I did not bring up anything that would get us into that general agreement discussion. But it was kind of funny. I mean,
this doesn't surprise me at all. I mean,
it doesn't.
Once you get into some sort of friendship with Dwayne, all kinds of deep, dark, crazy secrets and things that should never be spoken about come out for some reason. And and so now you can't even have breakfast. Brandy can't even have breakfast without breaking out a D&D ball gag.
Yeah, she pretty much wanted to leave shortly thereafter. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, so back to trust, right? Trust is humanity's favorite high wire act, because it's It's just it's a tough thing, man. But let me ask you a question. What do you think
Okay.
is the number one reason why people cite wanting to leave their job?
Cite wanting to leave their job. Oh God, it
Wanting to leave
sucks.
like
The
an employer.
people, poor communication, or just oh God. Okay, the most
Mhm.
probably bad pay. I mean, like from a financial perspective, I guess bad pay or not paying enough, or it's just I guess it's well, I guess a lot of the millennials are like fulfillment or something. I keep hearing
All
that.
those are on the list, but the
Yeah.
number one was actually not trusting their employer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, again, all the decades I've worked, that's one thing that, yeah, not to do is ever trust your employer.
What do you think the number one quality most people claim that they value in a partner or even a friend more than any other?
Oh, God, trust.
Trust.
I
And
mean, hands down, trust.
trust is a finicky thing, man, because it is literally required to function in society. It's
Mhm.
also required to have relationships. And every day of our lives, whether you know it or not, we trust people. And it's not just the people in our lives that we trust.
Oh,
We
no.
trust people that we've never met. We are required to trust banks to hold our money. We're required to trust the government to spend it wisely. We, yeah, we
Sorry.
are. Um,
Coughed. Cough
we're
there.
we trust companies to do the right things. We trust airlines to hire the most competent pilots, and then we have to turn right around and trust those pilots to have a good day that day.
Yeah.
Do you ever think when you're driving your
Uh-oh. It's
machine
like, there
on
we
the
go.
road while you're passing them at 60 miles an hour? You ever think about that before?
Uh, actually, yeah. I mean, I've seen enough accidents. And when I lived in Michigan, they didn't have a state inspection, and I saw a car that I'm like, how that? I mean, I was always, can I get my state inspection? It's such a pain in the butt. But when I saw the cars that were on the road in Michigan that didn't require a state inspection at the time, I'm like, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
Oh
people
yeah.
will. Yeah, I mean, you would see cars that you're just one had like half a windshield. It was weird, but yeah, being on the road and you're trusting that person did all the appropriate maintenance on the car, that they're sober, that
That they're watching the road. I mean, think about it. You're driving on the street, they're
yeah,
coming this way, you're both doing 60 miles an hour. You are within 5 feet, maybe not even that far
yeah,
away in some cases, and you're trusting this person that you've never met or seen or whatever to keep their death
oh
machine
yeah,
on their side of the road. And so, trust is one of those things, man. But there's different kinds of trust also, aren't there?
hmm,
I mean, the trust that you give to a person
right,
passing you in their car feels differently than the trust that you gave to a loved one.
oh yeah, yeah,
And when both those people betray you, um, it feels a little different when you're betrayed by someone that you chose to trust
it's
rather than
different.
someone that you did not voluntarily choose to trust. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about who we trust, why we trust them, and whether or not we should be more trusting in the future. And in addition to how to also handle people who have hurt you through their betrayal of that
Yeah.
trust. We're also going to talk about how to handle the people that you've hurt.
Oh,
And I said it because a lot of people maybe not have thought about that. What do you do when it's you that broke someone's trust,
can
right?
I speak like a guy?
Go ahead.
The first thing you do is you apologize. You acknowledge it. You apologize, and this is a triggering moment for me because there are other people out there that do things bad to other people and then they have not apologized, even though it's been months and months and months. But again, completely generic thing here. But yeah, the first thing you're supposed to do is acknowledge it, apologize, sincerely apologize for it, and then work to not ever do it again as best you can. I mean, a million reasons for goofing something up, but
So what I'm
yeah, that
hearing from you, what I'm personally hearing from you
yeah,
is that if you do something you shouldn't have done to Wayne, you should apologize for it. Is that what I'm hearing?
that is what you're hearing.
When you betray maybe I don't know, like a friend's trust, You should apologize. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
That would be, yeah, that would definitely be it.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. You see, Dwayne, you and I need to talk about something today before we move on with this podcast.
Okay.
And it's how and when, to accept apology and how also to give one. And while we're on the subject, I figure I'll just come on out, and I think it would be a good time, an appropriate time for my good friend my good friend Dwayne to apologize for some wrongdoing of his own.
Oh, was that a certain picture that I uploaded to Facebook recently?
See, folks out there, trust between friends is very important. And when you entrust a friend with information just for them to turn right around and stab you in the back with said information, it hurts, Dwayne. So a part of the healing process is to confront this abuser and let them know what they've done that was so bad. Allow them, to your point, to apologize,
right? Yeah,
for their heinous act of betrayal, because that's what it is. And
unless it was good, like that picture was awesome. If that was it, that was awesome.
Their heinous act of betrayal, Dwayne,
okay. All right.
And to see if you two can come together and move on past this. You see, folks, recently I posted a fitness update on Facebook because I'm trying to just, get a little tight and right for the summer. I'm trying to get tight and right for the summer.
Trying to get the man boobs kind of firm up there.
Yeah, summer's coming around. I'm trying to get, slim sexy. So the other day, I've been grinding in the gym, grinding on my diet. So I posted.
Applaud.
I posted an Inbody result, and Inbody, for those of you who do not know, test a bunch of things like BMI and body weight, and body fat percentage, and things like that, And so you guys can see it right there. And that's what I posted.
All right.
And as many of you know, Dwayne is a master of all things computer. Unbeknownst to me, Facebook and YouTube, unbeknownst to me, Dwayne was able to successfully hack into the mainframe and uncover more, let's say, personal data.
Yeah.
You see, apparently the Inbody not only tracks weight, body fat, but it also apparently also tracks penis size. Yes. Whenever it's true. Whenever you do the Inbody, it tracks the length and I believe the girth of a man's manhood. Yeah. I did not know this. And so here I am. But see, Dwayne has already hacked into the mainframe and he uncovered my private personal data and then posted it on social media for the world to see.
A bad man.
You see, this is the post that went on social media, and he added in the additional data that I was unaware of. And when you look down at the bottom, it shows right there. And I'm going to be fully disclosed here. Okay, apparently I have a erect penis size of that's in inches. Thank God. 2.5 inches is my manhood, and I am happy and kind of proud to say that I have now, for the first time ever, exceeded the midget size.
Yeah.
If you look there on the left, that's where the midget is. Now, before all my special male enhancement creams came in, and the vacuum pumps that I've been using for 4 years now, I was like 1.7. But now I'm happy to report that I am a pretty girthy 2.5 now, and I'm above the threshold. Now, granted, I'm not quite where all the rest of you is. You see where normal is, folks. That's where everyone watching this is right there. So I'm moving my way towards that. But and then maybe in hopes, if the gods ever shine down upon me, I can move into the biggest and the girthiest of all said measurements, which is all the way to the right, and that's apparently where Dwayne resides. So
Brandy can confirm that's false, but yeah.
I just wanted to say that I entrusted Dwayne with a deep, dark secret, a medical condition, Dwayne, a medical condition that I'm suffering with, called VSP.
Aren't we all suffering with that?
No, it's just me. I'm suffering from something called VSP, which is also known as very small penis syndrome. Apparently, we have our own seal and stamp.
All right.
It's a condition not known to many, Dwayne. It only affects 1 in 10 million. But the group is now up to 4 men. And we are working hard, Dwayne, rock hard at raising awareness to this issue in hopes that one day to find a cure for VSP. In the meantime, we are gladly accepting donations. So if anyone out there wants to donate anything, like if you guys have I don't know, like a microscope, so that way we can finish circumcising Steve, or maybe underwear from the Baby Gap, we would appreciate it, because that's the guys in VSP will be happy to. So, it's a debilitating condition, Dwayne, that I did not want to share, but this is where we're at.
Well, hey, look, Jeremy B, thank you for the donation. He's congratulating on the 2.5 inches. I like how he put the 0.5 in there.
Yeah.
Didn't round you up to 3.
I'm surprised Jeremy didn't donate 25 cents. So that would be something he would do.
That is funny. Yeah.
But, when you suffer from VSP, you suffer from a bunch of different conditions. I mean, look, the guys in my group, in this VSP group, are sick and tired of having to constantly file missing persons reports every time we swim in cold water.
Oh, yeah. I got the whole shrinkage.
When you, what we call you, normies, hear words like Mission Impossible, you guys think of a movie. But when you suffer from VSP and you hear Mission Impossible, we assume you're referring to satisfying a woman.
Ah, yeah, true. Yeah.
So, anyways,
so are you guys going to
any apologies that you wanted to make, Dwayne, while we're on this subject?
Well, I just didn't know. Are you guys going to be erecting anything for any purpose? Sorry,
there hasn't been much erecting of anything.
That was the best I could come up with.
Yeah,
oh, Mike with a $5 donation. Thank you. There's a magnifying glass. I have all stores. Actually, totally going off. Well, I guess not off topic completely, but in one of the iOS, this is an Apple product. I don't know how Android if they have something competing, but they had a thing where you can, if someone takes a picture, you can actually use this app, and it will then tell you the size of something.
Really?
Like it'll actually 3D it or whatever and tell you proportionally what that actual size is. And after that came out, people sending certain pictures stopped immediately.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I mean, most guys just do it the old-fashioned way,
Yeah. Well, and as far as the
measuring stick.
Oh, okay. All right.
And just so that way.
Is it notched at 2.5?
Mike Keller, they use kilometers. Here's 2.5. So
there you
go, buddy. Yeah.
All right. So as far as apologizing for that, I mean, I think it's just awareness. I don't think. I mean. Yeah. I don't think I should apologize for something like that.
Okay. You're helping spread awareness on VSP. That's
exactly. Yeah. This is an educational show.
Well, silly me. It sounds like now I should be owing you the apology.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
This is This
got it. Works. Got it. I see.
It's all good.
I see. Yeah.
It's all good.
Very interesting. All right. So moving on to trust, okay? Because there's a lot of people here that probably have a few of these trust issues. Maybe not as bad as my trust issues.
There's people Googling it right now, like, oh, there's a group for me now.
That's odd. I've got like 7 new inquirers for VSP.
Yeah, 2 followers and all that. Yeah.
Who is Jeffrey and
Damn. It was like. Was it Bobbitt? God, what's his first name? Whatever, the guy that got his wiener hacked off back.
Well, that was Lorena Bobbitt, right?
Yeah, Lorena, and then that was her. I mean, she's the one that did it.
Yeah,
she's a psycho woman, but that was like Bobby Bobbitt or Jim. I can't remember his name, but anyway, Bobbitt. I'm sure he's the president.
yeah, he's the president. So, Eric Barker is. For those of you who don't know, he's the author of a blog called Barking Up the Wrong Tree. He talked about trust recently and cited in a 2021 poll that 18% of American adults said that they only have one or zero people that they trust for help in their personal lives.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of sad, man. I mean, some people don't even have any. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like one of those like it's so sad, I'll laugh about this in therapy kind of statistic, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, shit, you know.
18%. I almost want to say that's kind of low. I mean, especially a lot of the guys and girls that are on this show that know about this show, the whole Dad Talk Today network, they've been through some massive betrayal. And
Yeah.
after you've been through that, you turn the trust meter off. I mean, you don't do any of that.
Yeah. You know,
So
once you get a little
18%.
older, you know, and you have to go through people's treachery, it makes you nostalgic for the days when you were a kid and the biggest act of treachery that happened to you was someone stealing your crayon, you know.
Yeah.
But our well-being is always dependent on the support and cooperation of others, you know. So trust is really essential. However, it definitely contains an element of risk. So the good news is research shows that in many ways trust is more common than you think. It's actually our default to do, but even though it may be common, it's also very fragile, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Many of you guys and ladies who are watching this right now have tuned in specifically to this episode because some of you guys have someone you care deeply about break that trust. There are people that are listening right now who have read the thumbnail and tuned into this podcast solely for the purpose of getting some sort of guidance or direction after going through a situation where you learned something or saw something that makes you wonder if you can ever fully trust anyone ever again. And who can blame you? I mean, everything you thought you knew about that person has changed. And not only did your thoughts on that person change, but it also changed how you view the world around you as well when that happens to you. You know, Dr. Jordan Peterson talked about betrayal and its effects in a classroom discussion years ago. And he said, let's say that you're in a long-term relationship, intimate relationship, and you get betrayed. What is it that you see when you see your partner at the moment you know of that betrayal? Well, you see chaos, right? And here's why. Because it rattles your unconscious up before like no other. You don't even know what you even are seeing anymore. You don't know what the past was. You don't know what the future's going to hold. Was everything you went through with this person even real?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you don't know how to handle this. So you come up with some wild ideas of what it might have been and what it represented, this relationship. And then you don't even know what the future is going to look like with this person anymore. And then that's when your fantasy starts to fill in the space of all the unsaid, unspoken kinds of stuff. And when you look in the mirror, you don't even know who the hell you're looking at anymore either. That's the sad part about it.
Yeah, you described my first marriage. I mean, you know, once I found out the depths that, you know, she had went through, and again, everyone here can echo all of this. I mean, my story is the same as probably everyone else's in varying degrees of betrayal. You thought you knew somebody, you invested your entire life, heart, finances, everything into that person. You wanted to raise kids, you know, for varying reasons, you know, have the perfect life or to make up for the bad life you had getting into it. And then you find out that that person, you know, is doing all this shady stuff behind your back, that, you know, you uncover text, or you see them out with somebody, or you get served divorce papers while you're at work, you know, something like that, you know, and it just, your entire version of reality just crumbles.
Yeah. You don't even know if you even, like, you start to realize that you don't even know if you know much about human beings at all, even more. You kind of clearly don't, right? I mean, when you go through something like that, because I mean, how can you? You chose this person, you allow them to be that close to you.
Yep.
And then you are unable to see their treachery ahead of time.
Yeah.
Are you even certain that you know anything about yourself? And so all of a sudden, what happens is not only is everything in chaos in your mind, but everything is in chaos in your world because it actually is. And there's no telling the difference between these two things, you know? I mean,
well, you don't know how deep the rabbit hole gets. Like if you get you find the weird text or you get a phone call from, somebody saying, "Hey, I'm sleeping with your wife or your husband," or, whatever that initial betrayal is, you go, wow. Because you've trusted them. And when they say they're going to go out on, girls' weekend out to Vegas or something, you're like, yeah, whatever. Or, they're going to go out with their friends or whatever that is. And then now you're like, oh my God. And you start questioning everything you did throughout your entire relationship. And then if you have kids with them, you double back and go, oh my God, I have had kids with this person.
yeah.
I got to tell my friends are going to find out. My family's going to find out. What's the future hold? Oh my God, I'm a statistic now. I mean, and it just, at least for me, like it all just bubbled up. And then through all that, I've still got to pay the mortgage. I've still got to, smile for my kids. I've still got to, be friendly to the outside world. But inside, all of this crap is just, circling through your head. And I'm sure everybody in this show has gone through that. And if not, I tip my hat to you. You got off light.
Yeah. And so now you're just shattered. And then you go and talk to a therapist for like 2 years and you think, what happened? Was what was the reality of it? Because who knows what the reality was. But as far as you're concerned, the reality is I better represent this properly. Because in my head, I better figure out who I was, who that person was, and what we did together and what it meant, because I don't want this to ever happen again. And
well, you still have like usually, narcissistic tendencies. I don't want to, say it's narcissism, but because usually when you're starting to get inklings, those weird emails or whatever that is, and you confront them, they usually lie to you and tell you, I have some weirdo, whatever. And then because it's usually the tip of the iceberg, when you start finding things out, and then you just figure out how deep that dark hole goes, and it's just a huge, it just shatters your entire worldview.
It does, man.
Been there, done that.
And you think to yourself, you go through years, you pass years, time has passed, you go through therapy, maybe you talk to everyone that you love, and you think to yourself, are you healed? Well, maybe.
No.
I can say this. I mean, you can never really fully be healed until you get to the point where you've grasped the moral of the damn story, which is what went wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and you're sitting there like, what the hell happened?
And how can I make sure that this never ever happens again? Because that's the purpose of learning, right? I mean, that's the purpose of memory, is to prepare you for the future. And so you have to pull out of this massive chaos, this functional representation that increases your wisdom, so that you're never in a situation, and that you're never this naive target the next time that you enter into a new relationship. So at least you can have another relationship without being so traumatized that you say, forget it, I'm done. I mean, it can take people years to talk through that, because the landscape of potential opens up when they're betrayed. It's like, well, anything could have been the truth back then. To sort through that, you have to wonder through all that mess. And it's really painful, and it's really emotional too.
Oh, yeah.
You have to sort through all that mess to come out with the new you, right?
Yep.
The renewed you. So it's no wonder that it takes people a lifetime to ever trust, depending on how severe that trauma was. But at the end of the day, we all know that we're going to come to the same conclusion, which is, if I ever want to be in another relationship, I'm going to have to trust again. And that makes it feel very uncomfortable.
I'm more of that Ronald Reagan trust but verify kind of guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
after I went through mine, I have my life set up to where I create the illusion of, I guess, trust, to be pretty real about it. But I've always, it being lied to and having people to betray your trust, it changes you. And, at the
You
very
got any
least,
stories?
oh God, there is too many. I mean, and actually, I'd probably say the folks, watching and listening, I mean, they probably have a million more that either sound similar or their own that are probably far worse than anything I could come up with. But I mean, yeah, I mean, my, marriage, finding out, just what was being done, the lies, and how,
Go ahead, I'm
how
listening.
how she was, poisoning. She every time she would talk to, first it started out with her family, and then lying about different things that would happen, and then she would get a hold of my dad and would tell him things that were completely untrue, and trying to soil my relate, and that's kind of how that worked, and all the while I'm unaware. I remember one time picking up my kids. I always pick my kids up from school, and I remember going there and getting ready to pick them up, and the lady behind the counter was like just glaring at me like I was just and I'm like, I never interacted with her, definitely not negatively and stuff. And later I found out that my ex-wife was going to that school telling anyone that would listen to her these horrible things about me, that I beat everybody and who knows what else I was in. And of course they formed those judgments, and it was just like, wow. But yeah, I it's one of those million stories, but I would say I've gotten past it. I can't say I've ever healed from it, because anyone that's been through it, you don't heal, I guess, the scars, whatever. You just figure out ways to deal in the new world. It's your new reality, and you just kind of have to figure out a way to get along with that and not inflict that damage unknowingly on new people, even though they could also be bad people. That's that. It's where that trust. But I guess I verify and kind of trust. It's more of that Ronald Reagan-y kind of talking, but. Yeah, too many stories to tell. I've been betrayed by a lot of people that I have placed, faith in, trust, an inkling of whatever, and they, have gone out of their way. And it's like, all right, that's why I handle that. That's why I do most things on my own. But it's just it's my truth.
Yeah, my truth.
How about you? Well, I mean, how about you? Any betrayal? Any stories on betrayal?
Yeah, you know me. I always got a story.
Yeah.
Years ago, I was dating someone that I cared about a lot, and we were dating for maybe about 2 years. We went everywhere together. We worked out at Gold's together. We worked in the same nightclubs together, actually.
This was a girl, right?
No, it was a dude.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, go ahead.
So yes, it was a girl. And so she was a bartender, and everyone loved the two of us because we seemingly fit so well, and we were always together and hanging out and doing these things. And I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe she could possibly be the one also. And that around that time, there was a video game, a computer game that was MMO.
Okay.
Multiplayer online
yes.
game. It was called EverQuest. Do you remember
the
that
story
game?
just got interesting. I was getting ready to fall asleep until now. Go ahead.
And I've never played an MMO, but I heard it was awesome. So I bought the game. And I'll be honest, I got a little addicted to the game.
No, really? You addicted to a video game?
I'm playing this game all the time, dude. Like, I would get off work, come home, and I'd be playing at like 8 o'clock at night. And then my buddy would wake up in the morning. He's like, damn, you're up early, I'm like, no, I never went to bed,
Been there, done that.
So I'd be playing all damn night through the night. And then her and I would get into these arguments because she wants to go out and she's like, oh, you're always playing this video game. And I'm going to be honest, I'm sure that I've neglected the relationship a little bit because of this video game.
Right.
Okay. So we started arguing and things like that. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe we should take a couple days off and just
taking a break.
just
Ah,
we're on each other's nerves.
we were on a break.
And I remember texting her. I gave her like a day, and then she didn't text, and so I text her, and she's not texting back.
Oh.
And I call her, and she's not calling back. She's being a pain.
Getting some strange, huh?
She's being a jerk. She's really letting me have it, right? And I'm like, maybe the third day I'm playing this video game, and it's probably like 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, and I get this feeling, dude. My intuition said, you know what? Something ain't right.
Your naughty part started flaring.
Yeah, something, dude. I mean, my
2.5 inches.
all entire back then it was still 1.8. It was before.
Oh yeah,
before the cream,
Right, yeah.
And so I get my car and I drive over to her house. She lived probably about 25 minutes away. And I pull down the street and there's a truck in her driveway.
Oh god, it's like a country song.
And I pull in, and I think she forgot that I had the remote control to the garage door. Open the garage door, and I go inside of her house, and the entire house is dark. And I go into her bedroom, and I turn the light on, and she's in bed naked with him, with another dude.
Man,
the guy who was the general manager at the Golds that we went to.
Oh,
we were there 4 or 5 days a week for a year and a half, and I had no idea. But he's in bed with her, and I flipped the fuck out.
Wow,
I jumped on him, just started beating this dude, and he didn't fight back, thank God, because he was naked.
Yeah, I know, like a little sword fight action, and
so yeah, man, it broke my heart. It broke my heart.
Yeah, and that is the betrayal. Ladies, if you don't already know this, sleeping with another dude, you want to destroy a man, there you go. That, and lie to him about who his kids are. Those two, you want to kill a man, that does it every time. Two and a half,
2 years, man. 2 years.
2 years.
Inseparable. And all it took was about 3 days of not paying attention to her the way that she wanted to, and she was shacking up with another dude, man.
Freaking
and this is the same MFer that would high five me when we come into the gym. Hey, bro.
Lie to your face and like it nothing. Yeah. Oh man.
Same MFer. Yeah.
Did not know that, and I feel sorry for you. So, but you're expected to. I assume you change gyms and all that, but how did that? I mean, it doesn't matter what you do, but when you go into a new relationship, you take that with you.
Yeah.
No matter how much you say, oh, I'm over it, that was someone else, but you take those things in there with you. I mean, do you have any advice or, personal advice or like what you've done to when you get into a new relationship to kind of deal with that?
I can tell you how it affected me personally is it made me jaded for the girls that I dated after it.
No,
I just basically treated them like shit.
Yeah.
I treated them like I don't even care. I'm the man, never gonna love you, kind of a thing. And ironically and weird, that actually attracts women when they, ironically.
I know. That's weird.
The more you treat them like shit, sometimes the more they're jumping at your damn feet, which is stupid. But that's a whole other podcast. but yeah, I mean, it took a while. It took a while, and I didn't call another woman my girlfriend
for a long time.
Years.
So when or if have you got to that point where you can sit down and share that outside of all the people that are on the show? Have you
I tell you this. This is the first time I've told that story since that time. And it's been 20 years. This is the first time I've ever told it.
Wow.
I don't know if outside of Richie, I don't know if any of my other friends knew about this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. And did you after all that happened, did you have someone you could, it sounds like Richie, somebody you could sit down and talk to about that? Or did you just do what everybody else does, which is smile and move on about it sounds like, you handled it in other ways, which it is what it is, but have you had a chance to kind of work through that? I mean, because obviously that betrayed your trust 110%.
Yeah.
I mean, you said that, and later dating and things like that, carried over there. Like, how would you say that would affect you today? I mean, like,
it's been long enough now to where it doesn't. And, I think that just like everybody listening to this, you kind of grow from it and learn. And you're cautiously optimistic that, it won't happen again. But to your earlier point, you verify,
yeah.
But it does make you think. I'll speak for myself. It made me think about how crazy female behavior can be.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how a woman can look you in the eye and tell you how much she adores you and loves you. And you look back at her and you can tell that she means it. But does she? Because
I think they're able to pass a lie detector test. They're so delusional. And again,
I think that they really think that they do. I think they have themselves fooled.
And it's all very situational. And again, address all hate, email, text, whatever, to piss off parent directly, me, whatever. Don't hate the show. These are my personal opinion. Yeah, they're like delusional on purpose. Like they will pass a lie detector test and straight out lie to you about something, or they'll say something and believe it. And then 30 seconds later, if the mood isn't there or things aren't going their way, they'll just, I love you so much. But then the first time you don't do what they want, they're out doing this. I mean, I don't know if it's the hypergamy or what it is. And again, my 51 years on this planet, I have not figured out. I just stay the hell away from it. That's just,
clearly her and that guy that ran the gym was talking prior.
Okay. I didn't want to know how far to dig in, but it was like, was it, you guys did the friends were on a break and then 3 days later she's in bed with him, or has it been going on for 6 months, a year? You don't know. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, but
wow.
but I know that the most likely scenario is that they probably exchanged numbers and he was probably texting her. And if I had saw her texting him back, she would have told me that he's a friend.
He's a friend. Yeah. They say he's just a friend.
We all know the deal.
Yeah.
It's always the same shit. And so she would have likely tried to manipulate me into believing that they were friends.
Right.
And the truth is that he laid back in the cut. How many times have we talked about this before where they wait for,
the opportunity
to mess up.
Yeah.
And then pounces.
That is one thing. I mean, I know we, bag on women a lot, but that's the one thing about guys that just blows my mind is that a guy not having the honor to like, hey, that's yours, not even gonna, I see a wedding ring, I'm done.
Yeah.
That or I'm dating, I'm whatevering, and no, you're spoken for. Not gonna. I mean, I see guys doing that, it blows my mind. I mean, I expected that of women. I'll be honest. Out of guys, it does genuinely surprise me every time I see that. Man, I'm sorry because I have to imagine that 2, 3, whatever years ago that's still with you. I mean, every day. I'm making the assumption. I mean, it would be for me. I mean, if I dealt with that, I couldn't imagine.
It took a long time for me to open up my heart to call someone my girlfriend.
Wow.
I mean, I dated, but there was no getting into my heart.
Yeah. Would you say it like using an analogy of a glass of water? Those things chip away. Do they ever come back? Do they ever fill up for anybody or fill up in general?
I think that they do.
Okay.
It depends on the person and how long of time. I don't know if it look. Does it ever 100% fill back up? I don't think that is the case. I think it fills back enough to have a relationship.
Right.
But having betrayal like that is kind of like picture yourself as a glass. No, picture yourself as a wooden fence, a brand new one. When you're young, you're fresh, you're strong, all that stuff.
Yours is a short fence, though. The short wood fence, like the little picket.
The little small fences,
okay.
yeah.
Just checking.
basically you can keep a chihuahua in, and that's
exactly it. There you go. Gotcha.
But everything that happens to you in life, picture a nail going in that fence, and you can heal from it and you can talk through it, and that nail can be pulled out, but that hole always remains the same.
Yeah.
And that fence just never looks like it used to.
Right.
Like it used to,
I had someone explain it like it's a paper plate and you crumple it up, or $100 bill or whatever. It's still what it is, but it doesn't look, it's not as perfect. I mean, we start out, we're young, we're little, and we believe in Santa. Oh, sorry for any kids that are watching. We believe in Santa Claus, we believe in the Tooth Fairy, and then things happen, and then life hits us. Unfortunately, a lot of us have experienced, being there as small children when our parents, got divorced or dealing with real life issues. And that shatters especially at a younger age, your entire view of trusting, because that's your security blanket. And then you get into your relationships. And of course, people carry those scars with them, and then they inflict pain on each other throughout their life. And then you get to a certain point and you're just kind of like, I got nothing.
There's an old saying that hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the thing about it too is we've kind of dominated this trust thing about relationships, but it doesn't just stop there. Yeah. The trust factor is all around our world, from the government that we have to adhere to businesses, to our workplace. We have a lot of trust issues.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just stop at personal relationships. And what I did was I also dove in to figure out, what kind of trust does people give to businesses or events or situations. And check this out. This is what I've kind of found out. There are some institutions that Americans trust a little, and there's some that they trust the least. And when you look at like the number one thing that we do trust, 74% of Americans trust the military, but only 11% of them trust Congress.
That high. Wow.
A lot of people trust small businesses, but when you look at big businesses, which is about 5 from the bottom, only 25% of people trust big businesses.
Wow.
37% trust the presidency. The same amount trust the Supreme Court. 36% trust the medical system. The medical system.
You want to get us canceled? Keep talking about the medical system.
I mean, look at banks, 30%, schools, 29%.
Yeah.
People have got trust issues, man. I mean, they do.
Those are kind of high for me. I know a decent amount about most of those different areas, and being involved in them at different levels or phases of my life. Yeah, my distrustometer is through the roof on all of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's where trust in governments is the highest and the lowest based on where in the world that you live. People in China trust their government a whole lot.
See, I gotta wonder, because again, they're told what to think, they're told what to believe, they're told. So I mean, personally, again, these numbers came from Statista. I don't know. It's like, this is that whole, when free speech is gone, yes, you'll trust your government 82% because you have no other choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was surprised to see Russia at the bottom, though.
Wow. Yeah. Look at where they're at. United States is 43.
Here's people's trust in businesses.
Yeah.
So look at the very left, right? Trust the advice of friends and family over business advice.
Yeah.
People trust people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
More than they trust people who actually work in the field of the area that they're asking for the advice on. So let's say that you've got, I don't know, I'm just going to throw this out there, a financial advisor who does it for a living. People might be more likely to trust their uncle for financial advice than a financial advisor. I don't know. 55% say they don't trust companies that they buy from as much as they used to.
Yeah.
65% don't trust press releases anymore. 65% don't trust advertisements.
Yeah.
71% don't trust sponsors, social media.
Well, in the Pissed Off Parents Pass, I used to be a business liquidator. So what I would do, the company I worked for, we would grant loans, small to middle range, anywhere between 100,000 to like 20 million. So in that range. And my job was to go in and shut the businesses down and deal with, the foreclosure, getting the chattel, whatever that recovery method is. And I saw a lot of stuff in that time where I don't trust businesses. I don't care if they have their, gold seal, their, the Better Business Bureau. None of those things apply to me. It's that having some kind of relationship over a period of time where I can build trust with them. But for the most part, I've seen businesses at their worst, and a lot of them. And of course, the information age, having data information to the back end for a lot of these companies, you see what really is going on with them, what they present in their company newsletter, their press release, and all that, and what's actually happening. I can see why those numbers. I personally, I expect them to be higher, but again, I've got trust issues, which we joked about at the beginning of the show. I have a lot of trust issues. Wow.
Mike, I saw the email come through. I got it. So thank you. And hello, by the way.
Huh?
And let's see what else we got here.
It was fart laundry. Yeah. Ball and chains are going. Oh yeah. I think everyone on here could probably talk to the ball and chain, what that ended up doing to them in varying degrees.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad stories out there. Everyone thinks those are the worst, but there's a lot of stories out there.
I'm outed.
I think that was roughly around the 2.5 inch discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were to wager a guess on when that comment was made.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, rouge and eyeliner and stuff to enhance the fake length there.
It's all trick lighting and mirrors.
Exactly. I've been getting away with that for years. So,
but when you look into trust a little more, and you try to figure out why is it that people trust or who they trust and things like that.
Yeah,
I found that competence and integrity ranks amongst the list of why people trust a lot. People who are competent seem to be trusted far greater because the perception is that they know what they're doing. And people with integrity can be trusted because they're honest,
Their
so
word
I
is
get
their
it.
bond. Yeah.
Yeah. So, these are the big things that people look for whenever they're looking for people that they can trust. And when we see someone do something, well, even if it's just once, we assume that they're very competent in whatever that they're doing. And we're even willing to discount them screwing up every once in a while because, hey, nobody's perfect.
Right.
So
if they're honest about it. If they screw up, that's one of my things is if you screw up, don't cover it up. Acknowledge it, admit it, say you're sorry, and move on.
Yeah.
I do that professionally and personally.
And so when it comes to the competence part of it, people tend to trust people that were competent. When it came to the integrity thing, it's in reverse. We intuitively think that people who possess integrity won't act dishonestly. So one slip up is enough for people to completely lose faith that that person's a decent person. Yeah. And I've seen that play out in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen people who think that one person has integrity and they get no second do-overs. You screw over them once and then they're like, oh, well, my perception of that person must have not been right.
Screw me once or shame on you. Screw me twice. Shame on me. I mean,
when you look for competence and integrity over time, you can get a good sense of who to trust. The problem, though, is that we're not very good with the time part. You see, people usually make judgments very quickly.
Yeah.
Did you know that the average person makes up their mind on whether or not they trust you within 100 milliseconds?
Really? So it's not the matching bra and panties. I thought that was
that's a good telltale though, right there.
Okay, just checking.
And what happens is when you give people more time to trust, more time than 100 milliseconds, what
Right.
happens is they basically double down. They just merely become more convinced that their initial thought process was right. And
Oh, yeah.
they kind of like double down on their initial judgment, probably because they want to be right.
Isn't
They
that
don't want to be
cognitive
proven wrong.
dissonance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that idea that, yeah, well, they've already kind of said, oh, so and so is the guy or the girl or whatever, and then they get data that shows it's not, and they're like, ooh, I can't go back and tell everyone I made a mistake. Oh God, no. So they double down on the nonsense until it gets to a crazy level.
And speaking of crazy, it's kind of crazy when you look at the stats. When I
Mhm.
was researching this podcast, what things actually influence people to trust people? How attractive someone is.
Really?
People are more likely to trust people who are attractive.
Yeah, actually, I remember in college, had my business, one of my business courses. They talked about the different levels of trust and things that factor into it. Yeah, a person being handsome or a girl being cute, that influences. If they were not as attractive, they weren't trusted as much. And it's weird, yeah. That, like, why would you use it as a barometer? But we saw that though, back when when women were allowed to vote, when they were given the right to vote, and was it Lyndon B. Johnson? Can't remember who the president, but oh no, it was Nixon, and he didn't put on makeup, and he had a mudslide and all that. But everyone's like, "Ooh, I won't vote for that person, or I won't like that person because they're ugly, or they don't
Right.
look trustworthy." It's like, you can look trustworthy? Are you kidding me?
Yep. A very good point.
Goes back to letting women vote.
People tend to trust people of their same gender more.
Yeah, they think that they know. Yeah, I guess they think, oh yeah, we share the same DNA or chromosomes or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, I understand your version of great. And I don't know for, well, I mean, I do not trust a lot of women with, or really any woman with stuff. Guys, I would say a little bit more so. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I would trust the same gender more so than I would an opposite gender person. Yeah.
Whether someone blushes when they talk will determine whether or not they're trusted. And
Well, that's the whole body language. I mean, it's body language. I mean, yeah, when you're talking to them and they you bust them in a lie or something like that, and they get flushed or flustered. I mean, that's just
Yep.
get through the BS detector.
You hear people all the time saying trust your gut. And I get it, but that same gut that tells me that buying a family-sized bag of chips is good for me because I'll save some for later, but you just
I had a Long John's run earlier this week that was, I trusted my gut and my gut betrayed me.
yeah, and that said, going with your gut is better than not trusting anyone ever. So I'll give that done. I mean, there was a study that was actually done where they examined the accuracy of trustworthiness.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they took the faces of two groups. One group was a bunch of Nobel Peace Prize winners.
Okay.
And the other group was America's Most Wanted Criminals. And what they did was the participants, there was 34, they showed the faces of these people for either 100 milliseconds, and then they showed the same faces for 30 seconds. So really quick, and then for a very long time. And the participants were also informed about the nature of the two groups, and they estimated, the group membership for each face, and judgments formed with extremely brief exposure. The 100 millisecond, they were similar in accuracy and confidence to those who formed to the trust they formed with a longer exposure, the 30-second ones. You can tell Nobel Peace Prize winners from America's Most Wanted at a rate much better than chance. So when they did this, there was a lot of truth in first impressions.
Hmm.
It wasn't just like chance. People, when they went off of their gut feeling, they actually picked the Nobel Peace Prize winners more than they picked the criminals on both the quick one and the 30-second one. So
Interesting.
there's something to be said about going off of your gut. Now, a rate above chance is not all that spectacular.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing blackjack all night. But, should we just evaluate people on their reputations? I mean, I don't know, because research shows that reputation only matters when it comes to trust if the circumstances are pretty much the same. If the stakes increase dramatically, that's where trust goes to play hide and seek, and reputations becomes about as significant as the G in the word lasagna.
That is weird.
When the payoffs of violating trust increase, suddenly everyone's moral compass starts spinning like a game show wheel. That said, when it comes to trust, then the real question is, the real question we should be asking is, it shouldn't be, is he trustworthy? It should be, is he trustworthy right now? Like, think about that. Think about that. Because when you say, is this person trustworthy, it's an absolute.
Right.
When you ask, is he trustworthy right now, then that's a much shorter window. And why? Because of something called incentivization. Okay. Incentivize trust. Trusting people is a lot like doing yoga. It seems like a good idea until you're suddenly in a position you can't get out of.
Right. Yeah. I'm like,
human morality is best scientifically examined as a trade-off between short-term and long-term goals. Stealing pays off now, but you might go to jail later. Thinking long-term means you don't go to jail, but since the thieves just stole all your food, you may starve. So there's a trade-off between short-term and long-term goals. It may sound a bit cold and mechanical, but we do better when we incentivize trust, reducing the situational factors that might tempt even good people to cheat or betray, and upping the things that make people think long-term. When you look at negotiation contexts, right?
Mm-hmm.
They refer to it as extending the shadow of the future. And in a one-off context, it might be rational to cheat. Unethical, but it might be rational.
Really?
But the contract was for 3 deals, just 3.
Right.
Suddenly it makes a lot more sense for them to behave. Like, think about that, at least on the first 2 deals.
All right.
And in time, maybe trust begins to grow. If you can demonstrate that there's more value in the future, even otherwise shady people are more likely to play nice. The goal isn't to turn every relationship into a clinical contract, but to help establish some guardrails that make it clear that it's best to think long-term and keep the behavior on the straight and narrow. What you want to do is you want to extend trust early. And here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a good idea to eye everyone as though they're potential contestants in the game show called Who Wants to Betray Me Next. But studies have shown expecting others to be selfish can actually have a self-fulfilling prophecy. Those who expect people to act selfishly actually experience uncooperative behavior. Meanwhile, displaying trust in others from the get-go can create an opposite type of self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if I say, hey, Dwayne, look, man, I know you're a good guy. You would never do me wrong. So I'm going to tell you something. What happens is that people will be more likely to want you to believe that they're actually trustworthy because you already put that into their mind. They want to fulfill your idea of said trust. Does that make sense?
It does. I just don't. I'm trying to like apply it to the real world. Do you have any examples?
So let's say that
Like,
you're in a situation where you're buying something. Let's say you're
okay.
buying a car.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of people are afraid of car dealers,
Yeah.
and they're afraid of getting screwed over on the price. We all know it.
Yep.
There's people with some really rational fear about this. When you look at the studies, if you imply integrity and trust at the get-go, the other person is more likely to be that person that you want them to be. So let's say that you're the person selling me a car. And I say, look, Dwayne, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't buy many cars, but I came here because of your guys' reputation. Your reviews are really good.
I see
Your
where you're going.
reviews are really good. And I don't know you from Adam, but I've been with you now for an hour and a half. And I like to think I'm a pretty good judge in character, and you're a good dude. I know that you're not going to screw me over. So I'm going to put my trust in you to give me a good, fair deal. Okay. I don't expect to steal this thing from your dealership.
All right.
But I also don't want to overpay for it. So I believe that you're going to do the right thing. Something like that. When you look at the stats and they do it 50 times over,
right?
The person, or in this scenario, the salesperson, was always more likely to go back and do the right thing.
Okay.
And they come back with a good, fair deal. Because psychologically, they want to be the person that you already think that they are.
Okay.
Think about a time that you and your girl were together, right?
Okay.
You're with a girl, and she adores you, man. And for the first time in a long time, you're in a relationship where when she looks at you, you can tell that she loves you and she thinks you're a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
If she was to say, Dwayne, one of the reasons why I feel so good around you is because I feel protected. I love the way that I feel when I'm with you, because when I walk down the street, I don't feel like I'm in danger.
Right.
I feel protected. I know that nothing is going to happen to me. You can't tell me as a man that if something happened and two dudes came up after she said that to you, you're not more likely to start whooping some ass.
I could, yeah, under that scenario, but my moral compass is different than other people. I mean, I get the stats and the data and all that. I'm trying to keep from doing that situational bias where I'm like, oh, I have some recent examples. But I mean, I see the analogy, and I see, yeah, if you were to talk with someone and kind of set it up to where, look, I'm going to trust you,
right.
Or the dating situation, that person then is going to try to live up to the expectation.
Correct.
Yeah, my life unfortunately has been, I put people at the lowest possible expectation, and I'm rarely surprised. So mine's a little different.
And I get it.
And it's been, and statistically, it makes sense.
Statistically is what I'm talking about.
Right.
If you tell someone, hey, I trust you, don't expect that 100% of the time
they're got that worked out.
Yeah. Don't be a fool. All I'm saying is that when you do these studies and you try to figure out what's going to give me the best opportunity for success, it has been proven whenever I was looking at these studies that if your woman says, hey, you're just a good, stand-up, God-fearing, honest, honorable man, and I'm lucky to have you, the chances are you're going to do all that you can to be the man that she thinks that you are.
So
that's all I'm saying.
If I were to say, look in the camera and say, Brandy, I know that you are going to buy me that transformer I've been waiting for, and it's going to be at the house in the next day or so on Amazon in your cart already. Statistically, that will happen. And
Brandy, you're not only going to be buying said transformer, but when you do, you're not going to bitch and complain about how much it costs or hold it against my friend. You're going to be the good, sweet, kind wife that we all know you to be, Brandy.
There we go.
You're going to do the right thing, Brandy.
There we go. Okay. I like that.
And then that night when he gets a transformer, you're also going to transform Brandy from a sweet little innocent girl to a dirty woman of the night. And
with
just
a
rock his
ball
world.
Gag. with a
Dungeons & Dragons
ball gag.
A D&D ball gag. So
well, I'll let you know how it works out.
when you look at things to be trusted, for instance, right? There are a number of factors that research says that we should display and look for when it comes to trust, like the discretion. If you've got friends who promise to keep your
oh boy,
this is a touchy one for me.
Yeah.
After what we had to go through, but if you have friends who promise to keep your secrets only to spill them, like a human WikiLeaks all over Facebook, Dwayne, then you know you have to make sure that being discreet. It might seem obvious, but what's funny is that keeping secrets is so uncommon that in the studies I was reading, researchers frequently heard people talking about calling information secret to make certain it would be spread widely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is nutty. Yeah.
People just love to talk about
love to drop tea.
Juicy secrets.
Oh yeah.
So discretion. If you're looking for how to be trusted or who to trust, look for someone who has discretion. Look for someone who matches words with their deeds.
That's a big one.
Okay. So
big one.
Meaning that you want to be consistent. Imagine a world where if someone said, I'll call you back in 5 minutes, that they actually called you back in 5 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
Not 5 hours.
It's one of my pet peeves.
Or not ever. The fabric of society as we know it would unravel. People would be wandering the streets in confusion, not knowing how to handle this newfound reality.
I'll be at your house in 20 minutes, and they haven't even left the house yet. Oh, yeah. God, I hate those people.
So if you want to be a trusted person, or if you're looking for people to trust, how are their words matching their deeds? Another one is set realistic expectations. Because if you don't, people may feel that they have to bend the rules to do what they say that they'll do.
Right.
Communicate often and set clear boundaries. If you set boundaries, then it's clear when people are and are not violating them.
Yep.
Please note, I require 15 minutes of solitude after I wake up.
Yeah.
So if I'm grumpy, it's not because I'm mad at you, hun. It's just because I'm not a morning person. Oh,
right.
And if you make me have to share my fries, I'll probably bite you. Like set
that happened this morning. She steals my damn fries. Dominance. I'm sorry. Triggered moment.
Dominance.
I know she does that to assert dominance.
So communicate. Set boundaries. Let them know up front. Hey, I'm not a morning person. The first 15 minutes, just ignore me.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say stuff. I don't mean it.
Yeah, I promise I'll be good.
Right.
15 minutes, I'll be good. If you don't know something, here's another one. If you don't know something, say you don't know.
Oh God, yeah.
It sounds so damn simple, but just say you don't know. It might seem ironic after all the emphasis on competence, but I don't know shows a commitment to the truth.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a badge of honor in a world brimming with half-baked facts and overcooked opinions. So it's not a bad thing if you don't know.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Oh, I think, and like and then usually they say something completely stupid. And I'm like, let me stop you there when you said I think. We both know that you don't.
So what happens? Because you brought up a good point earlier. Okay. You did. It's rare, but you did.
That is rare, yeah. Rare.
So what we talked about was trying to be a good person, do the right thing.
Right.
But what happens whenever you screw up? What happens when it's us?
Yeah.
How do we make sure that we let the world around us know, look, I'm human.
Yeah.
My best intentions, I'm still going to fall short from time to time. And what Dwayne said was, well, you need to have a good apology. Just man up and say, here's what happened. Here's what I
Authentic,
saw.
sincere apology. That's the other part. Not I'm sorry or I'm sorry you got mad. Yeah, that BS. Sorry, these are all triggering things for me. But yeah, if you screw up, acknowledge it. State exactly how you screwed up. Apologize for the behavior. Do your best not to do it again.
That's actually very, very close to what the scientists actually say.
Really?
I wrote it down. Check it out.
Well,
very good.
Let's see here.
Here's what research shows is a good 6 components to a good apology. Number one, an expression of regret. Start there.
I need to send this to a bunch of people.
I am so sorry. I did not mean for that to happen. Just an expression of regret. Then give an explanation on what happened.
Yeah.
Then, to Dwayne's point, acknowledge responsibility for it. Don't put it off and say, something stupid like, I'm sorry that you felt that way. Take responsibility.
Oh, God.
Promise not to repeat the offense. Offer to repair the damage done. And then request for forgiveness. Not every apology has those 6 in it, but the more of these 6 that apologies contained, the better the recipients perceive the apology to be. But one thing is more important than all the above. You can nail all 6, guys.
Getting sex afterwards?
Don't have sincerity.
Oh, okay. Sorry. They were going a different direction.
Without sincerity, none of the 6 matter.
Exactly.
A lack of sincerity is a red flag.
This would be common sense.
It's not just a red flag. It's a parade of red flags with a marching band and baton twirlers. Yeah,
exactly.
So we covered a whole lot today. So let's kind of round it up. And what we'll do is we're going to learn the best overall perspective to take when it comes to trust. Okay. Here's what you need to know. Okay. To sum it up. Competence and integrity. The 2 big trust signals are those 2 right there.
All right.
But we actually go with our gut. Far from perfect, but better than treating everyone like they're contestants on America's Next Top Trader. Go with competence and integrity and trust some people. Reputations are not reliable. When the stakes are higher than Snoop Dogg on a space station, people will recalibrate their moral GPS. Guys, gals, look at motive and incentives, not history.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's a crime committed and there's detectives trying to figure out who did it, what's the first thing they try to uncover? Motive.
Yeah.
So if you're going to trust people, can you imagine if the police went off of reputations?
She seemed honest.
So why do we do it? Reputations are not reliable. Look at motives and incentives. Incentivize trust. We talked about that today. Probably a little controversial, fair enough. But shift the circumstances to make good behavior more favorable and bad behavior less enticing.
Okay.
And extend trust early by simply deciding not to view everyone as a potential scam artist or a future character in a true crime podcast. You're activating their desire to be their best. It's like reverse psychology without the reverse part. To be trusted, you have to do a couple things. You have to display self-control, have a trust me demeanor, I want people to think that I haven't thrown out a Monopoly board in a fit of rage in at least a decade. Like, have that kind of demeanor where you're discreet and consistent and set boundaries and communicate. Don't have a demeanor where they think that you're going to fly off the handle at any given moment.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to apologies, offering up a sorry that's so thin it could be used as tracing paper isn't even worth the effort. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
Be sincere or don't even bother. Apologies go a long way when you make a mistake.
Yep.
Okay. So anything you want to add before we close up the show?
I mean, yeah, you nailed them all. The apology thing, that's the one, again, hits close to home for a number of people and situations. I just like, why isn't that common sense? I mean, is that any of your research? Like, did it show why people like suck at apologies, or are they so like narcissistic or self-absorbed that they just can't bring themselves to, be vulnerable? Like, I'm assuming it has to be that. Like, they don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah. I think that people really hate feeling that. I think people hate shame. We've got away from shaming.
We need to bring that back.
From taking accountability.
That's the big one. Yeah, no accountability.
And we live in a society now where if you accept responsibility, then it's he just spent 25 cents.
Jared double. Yes. Oh, yeah, I love Jeremy.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm taking away from the monologue there. That was awesome.
Jeremy's donations are going to have 0.25 in it.
That was awesome. Michael Keller is asking why the 25 cents. Earlier in the show, Jimmy had to do that part. I think Mike missed that part. You have to go back and watch the earlier part of the show because there's no way to set that up correct. I mean, there probably is, but anyway, yeah, there's a distinct reason why 25 cents was. That's awesome.
This right here.
There we go. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, let's go right to it. Yeah, that's Jimmy's Inbody full results.
That's all my manhood right there. That's all I got. 2.5 inches.
Sorry,
but let's just go to the final thoughts. Let's just go ahead and go to the final thoughts. Where's it at? Where's my little? Here it is. Here it is. All right. All fancy. So when it's all said and done, it really is better to trust people. When researchers compared people who trusted too much to those who trusted too little, the former came out ahead. Yes, the former occasionally got taken advantage of, but the latter missed out on so many opportunities that it wasn't worth it. Every person, guys, is different. Just because you were betrayed by someone in the past, it doesn't mean that everyone will betray you. Each person is uniquely individual. Everyone has their different values and beliefs and behaviors. It's unfair to judge someone new based on the actions of someone else. Going through a betrayal is a very painful experience. I know a lot of you guys have went through it. So have I. But it's also an opportunity for personal growth and healing. Taking time to reflect on what happened before you guys jump into a new relationship. It's really important to do that because trust is essential for meaningful connections. If you simply cannot ever trust again, then you really have no hope of ever having a meaningful connection. While it might be difficult to trust again after being betrayed, it's not necessary for building connections with others. Or I should say that it definitely is. Trust is essential. Because without trust, it's challenging to fully open up, communicate, and establish intimacy in your next relationship. Trusting someone brand new inherently involves taking risk, but it's a risk worth taking for the potential rewards. And those rewards are love and companionship. personal fulfillment. While there's always a chance of getting hurt again, allowing yourself to be vulnerable will be a part of the journey of forming deep connections with other people. Just make sure, guys, this time around, you're taking calculated risks. Trusting again does not mean being naive. It doesn't mean you have to ignore red flags. It's important to set healthy boundaries and communicate your needs and expectations clearly in all your relationships. This time around, though, establish a strong foundation and a fair and healthy boundary for trust to grow. Ultimately, trusting again after being betrayed, it is a personal decision that requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to take emotional risks. And there are no guarantees that it's going to work even when you do. Opening up yourself to the possibility of trust can lead to rewarding connections and personal growth. Having people you can really trust in your life is like finding out your crappy old car is really a transformer. We all need people we can rely on, not only to support us, but to be honest with us. Even when it hurts for us to hear the honesty, we all need people that we can rely on to tell us the truth. It's worth the risk for those moments of connection, those shared laughs over something utterly stupid. Having someone to share your life with and all those midnight conversations that make you feel like you're not alone in this whirlwind chaos that we call life. Guys, I know what I'm talking about. You can trust me. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to another episode of The Big Show, hosted by myself, Jimmy Smith. I really appreciate it. On behalf of my co-host, Dwayne Ward, and Eric Carroll, the author and creator of Dad Talk Today, keep pushing to be the best version of yourself that you can be. We'll see you guys here on Dad Talk Today next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Until then, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Have fun, buddy.